Alright, welcome to Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D Let's Play. This is Noah Glazer of the Hidden Triforce and LegendZelda.net. This is the second attempt at doing this. Sorry about the poor quality of the first video. It came out a little poorly. The camera settings were a little bit off, not quite sure what happened. But it did get better around the 6th video. But I saw the feedback and did not like what I was seeing, so I am redoing this to make it better for you guys. I'm going to be using the settings that I used from the 6th video on through the rest of the game to make sure that this is the best it can be. So part of the problem was the glare from the 3DS, and the other part was just the way the camera was zoomed in. You do not want to zoom all the way in on this. And the best way to do it is to show both top and bottom screens. So anyways, I will start off by reading the commentary. It says, "Long have I served as a guardian spirit. I am known as the Deku Tree." And with that, we are in Link's room, and he is asleep. It says, "The children of the forest, the Kokurai, live here with me. Each Kokurai has her own guardian, fairy. However, there is one boy who does not have a fairy. And with that, Link goes into a nightmare of the sorts. We see a castle, it is storming, and a white horse gallops out of the castle grounds. And there stands our young lad Link with a fairy. Two people on that horse riding away, and there is a dark horse that's standing there and glares at Link, and he looks horrified. Not quite sure why he is. We'll find out later on in the game. It says, "Navi, Navi, where art thou? Come hither." "O Navi the fairy, listen to my words, the words of the Deku Tree. Dost thou sense it, the climate of evil descending upon this realm? Malevolent forces, even now, are mustering to attack our land of Hyrule. For so long, the Kokurai Forest, the source of life, has stood as a barrier, deterring outsiders and maintaining the order of the world. But for this tremendous evil, even my power is as nothing. I seem the time has come for the boy without a fairy to begin his journey. The youth whose destiny it is to lead Hyrule to the path of justice and truth. Navi, go now. Find our young friend and guide him to me. I do not have much time left. Fly, Navi, fly. The fate of the forest, nay, the world, depends upon thee." Now, as you can see, this is quite an improvement over the Nintendo 64 version of Ocarina of Time. The graphics are substantially better, and this is really a quite beautiful view of the Kokurai Forest compared to the past. Seeing this in 3D is even better. Unfortunately, I'm not able to convey the amazement of 3D with this flip camcorder. It's just not possible. But I always like that when Navi bumps herself into the fence. You think the fairy would be used to flying by now, but I guess she's not. But she'll fly into your house without knocking, I note. And try and wake Link up. Hello! Link, wake up! The Great Deku Tree wants to talk to you. Link, get up. Hey, come on! Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? Link finally arises and gets out of bed. "You finally woke up. I'm Navi the fairy. The Great Deku Tree asked me to be your partner from now on. It's nice to meet you. The Great Deku Tree has summoned you, so let's get going right now." And this concludes the introduction. We are now in control of Link, and it is much better than in the past so far. And we exit out of the house to be in the Kokurai Forest. A young girl approaches our house. And this is our friend Saria. It says, "Yahoo! Hi Link." We are going to now drop down out of our treehouse and ignore her because we really don't need to learn how to talk. I already know how to do that. press the A button if you aren't sure. But just look around, pretty nice. The first couple things we need to do is gather a shield and sword. To get the shield we need 40 rupees. To get the sword, a little bit less work. All we have to do is climb up over here and work our way towards this wall. We will enter by pressing the A button and go into that small hole by crawling through it. To our right is a blue rupee that is worth 5 rupees, and what we have to do is avoid the rolling boulder and just work our way through this small little maze. It's very simple, and here's a chest right in front of us, so open it, and this will be the first sword that we get in the game, the Kokurai sword. This is a hidden treasure of the Kokurai, but you can borrow it for a while. Be sure to practice with it before you really fight. So I'm going to go ahead and equip it. And this is just a touch screen equipping system, much better than having to pause the game like you did in Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. So now that we have the sword, we need to get a shield, and as I said, that costs 40 rupees in the local shop. So go ahead and exit right back out where we came from. There's a couple of areas in the Kokurai Forest that we can get ourselves some money. First off, if you ever see grass like this, you should run around in it, as there's normally money hidden around. I already got some from there earlier, but you can also pick up these rocks, and they sometimes drop green rupees, which are worth 1 apiece. So we just got ourselves 4. Gives us a total of 13 so far. We're about halfway, not quite, but we're getting there. Alright, that's about that. So we're going to go into this first house. And there is a bunch of chests. This is Mido's house. He's kind of like your nemesis here in the Kokurai Forest. There's another blue rupee. And another. We're going to ignore this one because it's just a heart, and we don't need any hearts because we have our full amount right now. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these again, see if anything pops out. Alright, and just run through this grass. There's one. Another. And behind his house is another one worth 5. So we have 33, we need another 7. If you jump across, you'll get 5. And ignore her and enter into the shop. We have almost enough. We have 38, but if you go behind the shop, right here to the right, there's a blue rupee behind it, which gives us 43. So go ahead and talk to the owner and buy the Deku Shield, which is 40 rupees, as I said. And that's all we're going to buy for now, so just go ahead and exit the shop. And equip the shield. Alright, so we're going to go visit the Great Deku Tree now. The reason we had to get this stuff in advance is because Mido here is kind of a jerk. And he says, if you want to see the Great Deku Tree, you should at least equip a sword and shield. Eh? What's that? You have a Deku Shield? And what's that? Is that the Kokurai sword? Good grief. Well, even with all that stuff, a wimp is still a wimp, huh? I, the great Mido, will never accept you as one of us. Shoot, how do you get to become the favorite of Saria and the Great Deku Tree, huh? So he'll finally move out of our way. What a whiny little kid. And here's the first enemies that we'll face in the game, but we're going to run past them and just talk to the Great Deku Tree. It says, Great Deku Tree, I am back. Oh Navi, thou hast returned. Link, welcome. Listen carefully to what I, the Deku Tree, am about to tell thee. Thy slumber these past moons have been restless and full of nightmares. As the servants of evil gain strength, a vile climate pervades the land and causes nightmares to those sensitive to it. Therefore thou hast felt it. Link, the time has come to test thy courage. I have been cursed. I need to break the curse with thy wisdom and courage. Dost thou understand enough to undertake this task? And say yes. Then enter, brave Link, and thou too, Navi. Navi the fairy, thou must aid Link. And Link, when Navi speaks, use the fairy icon to listen to her words of wisdom. And the fairy icon is on the touchscreen in the top left corner. But I will never willingly press that button because I don't care what she has to say, like most people who find her to be extremely annoying. But we're going to go ahead and enter into the first dungeon of the Ocarina of Time, and it's called Inside the Deku Tree. So, what we'll see is that there's a cobweb right here in the middle, and we're going to ignore that and just go ahead and kill those guys to get ourselves an item, and that's a Deku Nut, which will allow you to stun enemies with, like, it's kind of like a flash grenade of sorts, but in nut form. Alright, so we got enough of those. We're going to climb the ladder now. When we are climbing, just jump. When you go to an edge, Link will automatically jump, which makes it easy for us. And just work your way up the ramp. And there is a chest right here. Navi points out that there's vines and you can climb on them, but we're going to ignore those for now and just continue jumping all the way across. And she also lets us know that we can open doors by pressing the A button. And here there is a Deku Scrub in the middle, so just target onto him with your shield, and will deflect his nuts back at him. He says, "Forgive me, Master. If I give you a tip, will you let me go? When you jump off a high cliff, if you hold forward, you'll roll on the ground when you land, and you won't get hurt from the fall." Then he leaves a heart and runs away, and this also opens the gated door in front of us. So we're going to just go ahead and jump across to this chest and open it. And this is the first item that we get from a dungeon. It's the Fairy Slingshot. So I'm going to equip that. This allows us to shoot items, or they shoot seeds per se. And we're going to target onto the ladder with the Fairy Slingshot and shoot it, causing it to fall from the ceiling to the ground so we can climb back up where we just came from. Alright, so just proceed back out to the main chamber that we were in earlier. I previously showed you guys that chest and the vines on the wall. We're going to ignore the chest because we don't need it, and just target on by pressing the L button to these spiders. Aim up a little bit higher, there's another one. And now we can climb our way up. Climbing is pretty simple. You just walk onto it and Link will automatically latch on, and then you just guide with the directional pad. And we're going to go around and ignore him. Go into this first door that we see, and it'll lock behind us. So we're going to stand on this switch on the floor, causing these three platforms to rise up. We hear a ticker signifying that this is a timed button. You have to make it across in a certain amount of time, or the platforms will lower back into the ground. So we'll just go ahead and open this chest to get the compass of the map, or the level, and kill this guy to get a Deku Stick, which is another new item. You can use the Deku Stick to smack at enemies, and also use it to light on fire to catch torches and other stuff. I'm just going to collect 2 of those and go back this way. Alright, now that we have Deku Sticks, I'm going to equip those to get out of this dungeon, or out of this room. So light it on fire by walking into the fire, and light this other torch, which will open the gate. Now if you put out your other item real quick, you keep the stick and it doesn't burn up, which is a great way to kind of like save up your sticks. So now we're going to go over here. The spider will drop down in front of us. When he turns around, smack him. If you smack him before, he won't take damage because he has that skull kind of shield on him. So once you've killed him, go ahead and jump down. The impact of our fall will make the spider web go away. And we're going to go ahead and kill this guy and get another stick, and go back over this direction. Press this button, and a torch behind us will be lit, causing the spider web to melt around this chest. And opening it up gives us a heart container, but now that we have this fire, we'll go ahead and light it. And jump down on this area here and go and light this cobweb on fire, which is blocking this door. We lost that stick because it burnt out, but go ahead through here. And there's another Deku Scrub. So just deflect the shield, deflect the nut back at him with your shield, and he will give you the order to beat his brothers ahead. And it's 2-3-1. Write this down or remember it, but the order is 2-3-1, and you'll need this later as I will show you. So go ahead and use your Fairy Slingshot to shoot the eye icon. If you ever see an eye icon anywhere in a Zelda game, that generally means you need to shoot it. So go ahead through, and we're going to jump into the water and dive with A. There's a switch in here that we need to press. So dive with A, and we will press it. Pressing this switch causes the water level to lower, and it is again a timed one. As you can hear the ticking noise, we need to wait for this platform to float back over to us, and then jump onto it. Since the water level is lower, we are able to get underneath this barbed wood spinning trap above us and jump over to the other side. Here's another one of these spiders that we need to take out. If you ever do a jumping A attack, it does twice as much damage, so it's a good method to taking care of enemies quickly, just like I just did there. And I'm going to go ahead and jump onto this cube and climb up to go through this door. The door behind us will lock, and we'll be in this room. A couple of these Deku Babas, so just take them out and use a stick to light these other torches on fire, causing the gate to open. So I'm going to keep my stick by equipping something else and go through the door. And take out that guy. Now we're in this room. There's a couple of areas. We're going to ignore this first one and just focus on what's behind us. And I'm just going to ignore these enemies. I don't need to take them out. But again, just burn down the cobweb to proceed into the dungeon. And crawling through with A again, we go into this next area, which will probably look familiar to you. As we're back in this room that we were in earlier, there's a gold sculpture right there to the left on that graded wall down a little bit below. And there's one straight ahead of us, but we're going to ignore those. I am not showing you guys how to collect those. If you do wish to kill them, just use your Fairy Slingshot to shoot them. 2 shots will take care of them, and they will drop a sculpture token, in which when you collect, you can upgrade your wallet and other cool things. But just jump over, and with that block push down, you can jump back up and catch this on fire and proceed through. Now, this is why you need to remember the number from earlier. The order to kill these guys is 2-3-1. So 2 is the middle guy, 3 is the one on the far right. If you get too close, they'll duck back down, so just kind of stay back. And finally 1. That done, go talk to him. And he says, "How do you know our secret?" It's so irritating. And he lets you know that the boss of this area, Gohma, has a weakness, and that is her eye. So we're going to go ahead and go through here. And be in the boss chamber. Kind of a circular room. The door behind us will slam shut, and you'll hear what sounds like a spider. But if we look with the view icon and look up, Gohma's big eye will look at you, and he will catch your attention and fall down. This is the parasitic armored arachnid Gohma. The best way to beat him is when he raises up to attack us, is to stun him and then do some jump attacks with your sword. Stun him with the slingshot, obviously, as I just did. And after a while he will get mad at you and go hide on the wall or on the ceiling. When he's on the ceiling, he will drop down eggs at you of his babies. If you slash at them before they hatch, you don't have to deal with the hatchlings, but if you don't, then you will. And just stun them again, and it takes 2 sessions. 2 jump attacks, it does twice as much damage, and that will be the end of Gohma, the first boss of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. With the defeat of Gohma, a heart container will appear. You get one at the end of every boss fight, like in the majority of Zelda games. And just go ahead and go through this blue portal. Alright, going to the blue portal will take us back outside of the Deku Tree, and he says, "Well done, Link. Thou hast barely demonstrated thy courage. I knew that thou wouldst be able to carry out my wishes. Now I have yet more to tell you. Wouldst thou listen?" And just go ahead and say yes. So now listen carefully. A wicked man in the desert cast his dreadful curse upon me. And we see the man on the horse from Link's dream from earlier. This evil man ceaselessly uses his vile sorceress powers in the search for the sacred realm that is connected to Hyrule. For it is the sacred realm that one will find a divine relic, the Triforce, which contains the essence of the gods. And we get a cutscene showing kind of the creation of Hyrule. It says, "Before time began, before spirits and life existed, 3 golden goddesses descended upon the chaos that was Hyrule. Din, the goddess of power. Nairu, the goddess of wisdom. And Farour, the goddess of courage." By the way, this 3D effect is amazing right here. Wish you guys could see it, but you have to wait a couple more days, so my apologies. Din. With her strong flaming arms, she cultivated the land and created the red earth. Nairu poured her wisdom onto the earth and gave the spirit of law to the world. And lastly, Farour, with her rich soul, produced all life forms who would uphold the law. The 3 great goddesses, their labors completed, departed for the heavens, and the golden sacred triangles remained at the point where the goddesses left the world. Since then, the sacred triangles have become the basis of our world's province, and the resting place of the triangle has become the sacred realm. Thou must never allow the desert man in black armor to lay his hands on the sacred Triforce. Thou must never suffer that man with the evil heart to enter the sacred realm of legend. That evil man who cast the death curse upon me and saps my power, because of that curse my end is nigh. Though your valiant efforts to break the curse were successful, I was doomed before you started. Yes, I will pass away soon, but do not grieve for me. I have been able to tell you of these important matters. This is Hyrule's final hope. Link, go to Hyrule Castle. There thou wilt surely meet the Princess of Destiny. Take this stone with you, the stone that man wanted so much he cast a curse upon me. Bling, bling, bling. Look at that bling. Take it, Link. There you go. It's a beauty. You got the Kokorized Emerald. The future depends upon thee, Link. Thou art courageous. Shouldst thou ever lose the way, seek a vision of the path from the Sheikah Stone that stands before thy home. Navi the fairy, help Link to carry out my will. I entreat thee, Navi. Goodbye. And with that, the Great Deku Tree dies. He withers away and turns gray. He is a goner, pretty much. But the Sheikah Stones, as you mentioned, is a new feature for this game, the Ocarina of Time 3D. The original Nintendo 64 version did not have a Sheikah Stone. And what it does, it gives you a short little couple second clip that kind of shows you what you need to do in a certain area. This concludes the first segment of the Ocarina of Time Let's Play for NinBuzz. Hopefully the quality here is better, and in the next video we will go to Hyrule Castle to visit the Princess